Hi, everyone. This is David. Welcome to Consortia Learn, Get a Job, Improve Skills, or Build a Business. Now, let's begin. So, what can Consortia do for you? Number one, as stated, we can help you learn bookkeeping, accounting, or tax. We can help you get a bookkeeping, accounting, or tax job. We can help you improve your bookkeeping, accounting, or tax skills. And we can help you build a bookkeeping, accounting, or tax business. Our promise to you: Consortia enables you to achieve these goals better than anyone else. Now, why are we able to, or how are we able to do that? It's because we've done it. In fact, we've done it for many years, many times. Now, let me take just a few minutes here and lay a foundation for helping you understand where we're coming from and why this works the way it does. So, first of all, in the accounting industry, you have the big four accounting firms, national, global organizations, and you also have what's called local accounting firms, meaning they could be a proprietor, two-partner firm, five-partner firm within a given, for example, Salt Lake City. And so typically, local small firms work for local small businesses. Now, we specialized in small businesses when we started 40 years ago, and we've been doing this ever since. But I want to make sure you understand exactly how accounting firms work. So what happens is typically when you need staff, professional staff, you'll go to a university that's known for their accounting program. In other words, if you're looking for the best students, you're going to find them at the best universities that have the best accounting program. And then you're going to only interview those people that have the best grades. And then, of course, you're going to invite back to your office those people who came across the best in the interview process. And then, of course, those few people you invite to your office, one, two, or whatever you're looking for, are the ones you're going to hire. You're looking for those people who now fit into your company culture. Okay. So here's how it works. If I get a job, I'm going to start as a junior professional. Now, first of all, I get an opportunity to choose whether if I want to work in the accounting department or the tax department, that is, in a local organization. And so let's say, for example, I choose to go into the accounting department. So I start as a junior professional. Now, before I start, they're going to take me either at the office or somewhere else, and they're going to take me for a week or two to be trained on the policies and procedures of how we do accounting. In other words, what they would call their best practice accounting. And so you go through that training, you learn their process, and then you come back, go to work, and begin to implement it under the direction of a senior professional. Now, a senior professional has been doing this now for at least 2 years. And of course, they at one time were a junior professional. They've been doing this for a couple of years. They move up. Why did they move up? Because the senior professional went up to become the junior manager, and I could keep going up the ladder. So the point being made is that you're a junior professional, you've been trained, and now you're being supervised and directed by the senior. And again, that goes on for a couple of years. Okay. And then, of course, you continue to move up the ladder. The point I want to make to you is that early on, that's what we did too. We would go to the universities to get accounting students. And then we realized, hey, wait a minute, most of these students, and we were included, most of these students are trained how to work for the big four accounting firms or large organizations. They're not trained and educated to work for small businesses. And it's night and day as far as what you do and how you do it, depending on if you're working with a small business or you're working with a large organization. And so we decided to change the way we recruited. And what we decided to do is basically take them through our own program. So as you see when I explain to you, that's the result of what we did. Okay, so Consortia, LLC. Consortia is a national 40-year-old multi-million-dollar business. Consortia is the parent company of separate targeted company divisions, which I'd like to introduce to you. So, as far as these divisions, we have Consortia Accounting Community, which is a free social networking platform. NACPB, which is a National Association of Certified Public Bookkeepers. NACAP, which is the National Association of Certified Accounting Paraprofessionals. NACTP, which is the National Association of Certified Tax Professionals. And Consortia Accounting School, as well as Consortia Small Business Advisors. Okay, let's talk about each one of these. So as far as Consortia Accounting Community, it's a free social networking platform for bookkeeping, accounting, and tax students, job candidates, employees, or business owners. The community allows members to network with like-minded individuals. For example, when they first start in the community, they choose what category, bookkeeping, accounting, or tax. And then within that category, what is your status? And everybody typically goes through these four processes, I should say four levels. You're first a student, and then you're a job candidate, and then you're an employee, and then you may or may not go on to have your own business. But that's the way it typically occurs. And so anyway, they choose what group they want to be in. Okay? And then again, that's why they're dealing with like-minded individuals, because they're in their category, bookkeeping, and they're a student just like you are. So your peers are going to be those people doing exactly what you're doing. Networking is the process of interacting with others to share information and develop social or professional contacts. Professional contacts, as far as getting a job, for example, or if you start your own business, getting clients, that's extremely, extremely important. We have actual training that we do to help people to know how to do those things, but that's another day. You can access the community as far as our web app at accounting.community. You can download the mobile app from the Apple Store or Google Play. Now, very quickly, I want to run through each association because overall they play the same role, but in a different category. The National Association of Certified Public Bookkeepers is an association of bookkeepers who possess or are seeking to acquire the Certified Public Bookkeeper CPB professional license. So once again, as we developed our own program, we educate them a certain way and we want them to become licensed under our organization as a CPB. That is, if they're working in our department, or I should say our bookkeeping department. Okay? We want our clients to know, hey, these people are good. They know what they're doing. Okay? And again, you'll see that as we go through this. The association is comprised of bookkeeping students, job candidates, employees, and business owners. The association allows members to network with like-minded individuals. So very similar, obviously, to our community. Okay? That is our online community. NACAP, the National Association of Certified Accounting Paraprofessionals, is an association of accounting paraprofessionals who possess or are seeking to acquire the Certified Accounting Paraprofessional, or CAP, professional license. The association is comprised of accounting paraprofessional students, job candidates, employees, and business owners. The association allows members to network with like-minded individuals. NACTP, the National Association of Certified Tax Professionals, is an association of tax preparers and planners who possess or are seeking to acquire the Certified Tax Professional, CTP, professional license. The association is comprised of tax students, job candidates, employees, and business owners. The association allows members to network with like-minded individuals. Notice how specialization is a key for what we do here. Now, as far as Consortia Accounting School, so again, instead of us going to universities, we started our own school. Consortia Accounting School is a Utah-registered post-secondary proprietary school for bookkeepers, accounting paraprofessionals, and tax preparers and planners. We produced America's most qualified bookkeepers, accounting paraprofessionals, and tax preparers and planners. Now, I want to help you understand again how we educate them. So let me go through something that should be familiar to you, and that's the accounting cycle. So notice there's 8 steps in the accounting cycle. And so let me explain what those steps are very quickly. So first of all, when you're performing accounting, or I should say bookkeeping, the first thing you do is identify financial transactions. Then you categorize those financial transactions, and then you record the financial transactions, and then you create an adjusted trial balance, and then you analyze the trial balance. You make adjustments to the trial balance to each account or to the accounts that need to be adjusted. You then create financial statements from the adjusted trial balance, and then you analyze and communicate financial information. Now, this is not a course on bookkeeping or accounting. I'd love to go through and explain all these to you if you're new and you don't quite get it, okay? And I understand that. But the point being made is that here I want to point out to you that the first 3 are what bookkeepers do. They identify financial transactions, categorize financial transactions, record financial transactions. Then what we call accounting paraprofessionals, what they do is they create unadjusted trial balance, analyze the trial balance, and adjust the trial balance. And they create financial statements from adjusted trial balance. And then what we call our accounting analysts, they then do number 8, they analyze and communicate financial information. So just like Henry Ford created a manufacturing line, okay, for building automobiles, we've created, in a sense, a manufacturing line for how we do bookkeeping, accounting, and financial analysis. And so we break it down where somebody's first a bookkeeper, and then if they want to go forward, they become an accounting paraprofessional. If they want to go forward, they become an accounting analyst. And of course, all that fits within the accounting realm. And then, of course, we have a tax realm, which I'll talk about as well. Okay, so bookkeeping and accounting development. So as I stated, bookkeepers are educated on the first 3 accounting cycle steps. When the bookkeepers complete the bookkeeping program, they can enter the accounting program, okay? If they want to stay as a bookkeeper, no problem, okay? But if they want more challenge, make more money, become more valuable, they'll move up to become one of our accounting paraprofessionals. Accounting paraprofessionals are educated on the next 4 steps of the accounting cycle. When accounting paraprofessionals complete the accounting program, they enter the accounting analysis program. Once again, they can stay as an accounting paraprofessional, but again, within our organization, and that's why I was wanting to show you earlier how somebody progresses up through an accounting firm. Well, of course, we maintain that. And so the point being made here is that you can join us, you can be a bookkeeper, and if you want to stay there, you can stay there. Okay, but most people want to move up, and that's the reason why we have this. They want to advance, they want to make more money, they want to become more valuable, and of course, they may have other options, like starting their own business, for example. Okay, and finally, accounting analysts are educated on the next and last step of the accounting cycle. Tax development. Tax preparers are educated in the tax preparation program. When tax preparers complete the tax preparation program, they can enter the tax planning program. Tax planners are educated in the tax planning program. So again, the point we're trying to make here is that we allow people to enter the program they're interested in and advance if that's what they're wanting to do, okay? And most do, quite frankly, okay? Either on the accounting side or on the tax side. Now, accounting school programs. So our bookkeeping, accounting, and tax education programs include higher education courses. So again, we don't go to universities. We have become, in a sense, a university. We become a registered post-secondary school, and therefore allowing access to college courses that, of course, we turn around and offer to our students. Nationally recognized certifications, best practice training, best practice experience, and nationally recognized professional licenses. So when we say to you, we promise you that nobody does it better than we do I hope you understand where we're coming from because it's absolutely true. There's no other organization, no matter if it's a major university or anybody else, there's no other organization that gives you what we give you. And we give you what we learn from the accounting profession as far as how they produce great CPAs. Okay. But here we're creating great bookkeepers, great accounting paraprofessionals, great accounting analysts, and as well as great tax preparers and planners. Okay, and we also offer continuing professional education. So just when you get through 5, you don't stop there. You continually move on. For example, we have always been a QuickBooks company. We work with small businesses. A vast majority of small businesses use QuickBooks. It makes sense, right? When we first started in the early 90s, you had QuickBooks, what they now call desktop. And then in 2013, you had what's called QuickBooks Online. Well, now, starting in 2026, they now have what they call Intuit QuickBooks. And Intuit QuickBooks has AI as well as all in one format. So, for example, you not only do accounting within the platform, but you can do your marketing in the platform. So, if you don't continuously learn, you're going to be missing a lot of opportunities if you don't learn the new Intuit QuickBooks, which, by the way, we're in the process of implementing within all of our organizations, especially, of course, in our education. Okay, Consortia Small Business Advisors. Consortia Small Business Advisors enable small businesses to become high-performance businesses with our high-performance business system. We provide bookkeeping, accounting, and tax services to generate the information we need to enable our clients to develop high-performance businesses. And so we need bookkeepers who know what they're doing. We need accounting paraprofessionals that know what they're doing. Okay. We need tax preparers and planners to know what they're doing. And of course, I left out, which I shouldn't have, accounting analysts as well. But we don't want to go to the universities and pay as much as you have to pay, and they're overqualified because they've been trained to work for the Big Four or larger corporations, which, again, we specialize in small business, so why in the world would we do that? So that's why we developed our own program, selfishly, to develop the best students, the best employees for our organization. Okay, so to summarize here, as far as our accounting programs, you become a bookkeeper and can, if you want, become an accounting paraprofessional and can, if you want, become an accounting analyst. As far as our tax, you can begin as a tax preparer, and then if you want, you can become a tax planner. And again, more skills, more quality, better pay, better benefits, etc. Now, as far as divisions, again, let me show you how they all work together. So we start with free accounting community. Now, again, there's a lot of reasons why we have that, okay? Because we want people to get into our associations. We want people in our association to get into our school. And by the way, for your information, if you're a member of one of our associations, which many of you are, if you're taking any of our courses, certifications, so on and so forth, you are in the school, okay? It's the school's courses, certifications, etc. Okay, but of course you get it at a discount, one of the member benefits. But you can see here how when we say we create the best, you can see how we're able to do that. And when we say we promise you nobody does it better, I hope you understand, and I hope you've taken the time to look at our competition. And there is no competition. That is, if you want to be the best at what you do. Okay. So it all begins then by joining our free accounting community. Number 1, join the community. Number 2, set up your profile. Number 3, choose your career path, whether if you're in bookkeeping, accounting, or tax. Choose your career status if you're a student, job candidate, employee, or business owner. And by the way, we have over 10,000 people in our community now, and we just keep growing every day. But the point is that some people, when they sign up for each bookkeeping, accounting, and tax category, and each student, job candidate, employee, and business owner. And then we're like, well, I guess we've miscommunicated because you're no longer working with like-minded individuals. And so again, please keep in mind, the whole idea is if you're going into bookkeeping as a student then you would sign up for the bookkeeping student groups because you're communicating with people who are like you. That's the whole point, okay? From a social standpoint as well as building your network. Connect with your peers. Share with your peers. Now, by the way, let me say something here. Oftentimes, I shouldn't say often, sometimes people join our community and the very first communication they have is, I'm looking for a job, give me a job. They don't understand the way you network. You notice that we always say connect, communicate, share, and then network. And so you don't get on a community, any community, and say, I just joined, please send me jobs or clients. That's not the way it works. You've got to do the work. In other words, if you really want a job or if you really want clients, you'll go through the process and do the work. You'll join the community, you'll set up your profile, you'll choose your career path, you'll choose your career status, you'll connect with your like-minded peers, you're sharing with them, giving them answers, asking them questions, sharing articles, videos. Just, not only are you developing relationships, but you're basically proving to them that, hey, I'm somebody worth hiring. Or, hey, I'm worth somebody that, to send clients to, that kind of thing. That's what it's all about. And then you start asking for jobs. Then you start asking for clients, that kind of a thing. And again, we have a whole presentation on that, which I happen to teach, and so that's why I take a moment here. But that's what a community is all about. And of course, our associations do, in a sense, the same thing, more on a live basis as opposed to a digital basis. Okay, and finally, develop relationships. And then network. Okay, so consortia, business divisions, this is how you get a hold or access to each one of them. You can leave this up if you want to go back and take a look. But again, let me just summarize here by, we're here to help you be the best you can be, no matter what category you're in, no matter what your status is. We can help you. That's why we're here. We've done it time and time again for 40 years, and we'll keep doing it as long as we can. So bottom line is, at least join our community, get familiar with us, and then go from there. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it. Have yourselves a wonderful day.